Tonight, mixed reactions to a 10-day crackdown on drugs.
It's been really a tough day.
Why we still don't know if the plan from Winnipeg police worked. Also tonight, Winnipeg gets weird.
There's lots of buzz in the Exchange District.
The quirky festival bringing some real characters to the city. And later, Perfetti's price just went up.
Shoots and scores!
How long he's sticking around Winnipeg and how much the Jets paid to keep him here.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Taylor Brock.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Businesses in the West End say violence and crime is plaguing their neighborhood. An open letter, the businesses say they are calling for urgent action, saying a 10-day crackdown by police on open drug use made a difference and they want it to continue. CTV's Jeff Keel explains.
At the Just Like New to You thrift shop on Portage Avenue, staff have to stay alert.
Oh, it's been a crazy one. We've had probably 6 or 7 individuals come in, try to steal. Some got away. It's been really a tough day.
Shop president Susan Lockhart says over the last few months, an increase in crime has impacted the businesses in the area.
We're taking the brunt of this right now.
Now those businesses, the Lions Manor and others in the Sherbrooke, Maryland community have written an open letter calling for action.
A lot of us were very concerned about the escalating level of violence and the threats that we were seeing, robberies. There have been some daytime stabbings.
They would like to see a recent 10-day crackdown on open drug use by police extended. They say it made a difference. Mayor Scott Gillingham agrees. He'd like to see the enforcement again.
I've been door knocking over this week and some of the evenings, and a lot of people have expressed their appreciation for the Winnipeg Police Service and the crackdown on open illegal drug use.
But it's unclear if the blitz will continue or if police will release the results of the week-and-a-half-long operation. In a statement to CTV News, Winnipeg police say they are in the process of reviewing the operational outcomes and community impacts, as well as feedback. No final decisions have been made regarding reporting, future activities, or the release of results. We will provide an update once that process is complete.
Any information that could be provided, I think, would be welcome.
After the sweep became public, a number of outreach groups raised concerns the crackdown did more harm than good for vulnerable people struggling with addictions and homelessness. The mayor disagrees.
We can do both. We can be compassionate to people who are struggling with addictions, at the same time uphold the law.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
When police announced the sweep, they did provide stats for the first 2 days of the operation. It said there were 100 interactions with people using drugs and 25 arrests. A man is dead after drowning during a police chase. Manitoba's Independent Investigation Unit says it happened yesterday in Fisher River Cree Nation. The watchdog says officers were responding to an assault when they found a man they believed was a suspect. After telling the man he was under arrest, officers say he ran into the nearby Goldeye Creek but soon began to struggle. The officers managed to pull him out, but he was unconscious and no longer breathing. The IIU did not provide any details about the man's identity. Those with any information are being asked to call the IIU using the number on your screen. A Manitoba campground is being forced to close for the season after being walloped by storms.
To happen twice in 1 year is crazy.
Assisipi Beach and Campground near Inglis is nestled along the Shell River. But after heavy rains in June and July, that river doubled in size and overflowed its banks. As a result, the campground estimates it's lost around 120 feet of land to flooding and at least 14 of its campsites plus a deck. Sand also covers large areas, including a wading pool, play structures, beach huts, and more. Campground owner Karen Gorluk is now waiting for the land to dry out so she can clean up and see what's left to rebuild.
I'm not going to put sites back down by the river, that's for sure, because there's really nowhere to put it. Because we had a parking area, we had ball games, so you could have campers and you could have parking, but now I'm not sure what we'll have left there.
Flooding also washed out nearby roads, exposing the pillars under Highway 83's bridge. That highway remains closed. Corluck is itching to rebuild so they can open the campground next summer, but says her insurance doesn't cover the flooding or loss of revenue. So she's hoping to get help from the province's disaster financial assistance program. And recent flooding in Dauphin hasn't just been destructive to its infrastructure, it's also been a nightmare for its economy. The Parkland Chamber Street Fair and Dance was supposed to get underway in Dauphin 2 weeks from now. For decades, it's been the kickoff to Canada's National Ukrainian Festival, an event which by itself represents millions of dollars in economic activity. But officials have been forced to cancel both of these events due to the flooding, which shut down its hospital. The Parkland Chamber of Commerce says it's the first time they've had to make that call in 50 years.
Like it's a pretty big loss. It's one of the biggest events that the chamber puts on each year, and it's fairly significant for us as far as our budget for the year.
The chamber is hopeful it may be able to hold the event at a later date. If not, officials say they will try to make it through the year and hope for a successful event next year. Winnipeggers were looking a bit zanier than usual today. Here's why. The Winnipeg Fringe Festival opened tonight. The event is being put on by Royal MTC. More than 160 indoor shows are planned for venues across the city, featuring both local and international theater companies.
There's lots of buzz in the Exchange District. That's something that I love so much about the Fringe, is getting people down into the area that I love so much, and seeing all the posters go up and everybody excited to see new shows, new art, and meet up with their community.
And Old Market Square will host daily free entertainment with street performers and bands showing off their talents. The festival runs now through July 26th. You can find show information, schedules, and tickets at winnipegfringefest.com. A mural in the West End honoring Folklorama is taking shape. Sargent Avenue's newest mural is halfway done. It's currently being painted by artist Mandy Van Leeuwen. The artwork celebrates our city's rich diversity, displaying symbols of Folklorama pavilions that's kept visitors coming back year after year.
And this Folklorama mural is really fitting considering we are the first place that people come to when they arrive in Canada. Usually the West End is home to a whole bunch of newcomers throughout history, so it's really fitting that the Folklorama, a mural that really celebrates our cultural and our diversity, is right here in the home of the heartland in the West End.
You can check out the work in progress at 674 Sargent Avenue on the west wall of Morton's Chocolate. And here's our first look at tonight's weather. It is currently 20 degrees Celsius, feeling more like 25 with the humidity. We are seeing a few clouds in the sky. Light winds with pressure dropping. Humidity sits at 77%. That is because we could be seeing some rain overnight, possibly even a thunderstorm. Temperatures will reach a low of 19 degrees tonight as we see that chance of rain, particularly in the very early hours of the morning. As folks head to work, we will possibly be seeing those showers, even a thunderstorm risk. 19 degrees starts us off.
I found him very limp, shirtless.
Seniors sweltering without AC, where care home residents are suffering under intense heat next. As hot and humid temperatures across the province continue, a lack of AC raises the stakes in healthcare settings. Residents at several Winnipeg personal care homes are suffering with no end in sight. This as a hospital in southern Manitoba is closed indefinitely until its AC is fixed. CTV's Joseph Bernacki reports.
Debbie Dalt came to St. Anne Hospital to get lab work with her daughter Wednesday, only to find it was closed.
It's an older hospital. I don't know how well it's maintained, so yeah, it's not very good when the air conditioner goes.
On Monday, the Southern Health Santé Sud region said the hospital was closed after the AC went down. A spokesperson on Wednesday says the hospital may open next week after an inspection and testing is done.
We currently are exhausting every resource we possibly can to be able to remedy the situation.
Existing patients were transferred to hospitals in Steinbach and the Morton Winkler area. Meantime, it's a challenge for Dalt. She doesn't drive, and her daughter has to come in from Winnipeg to drive her to appointments here.
If you don't drive, it's hard to get to somewhere else. Like either you have to go to Winnipeg or you have to go to Steinbach, or you even have to go further. People around here, they like this hospital because it's so convenient. 3
Winnipeg area personal care homes are currently without air: Donwood Manor, Pembina Place, and Middlechurch. Lydia Danilis' grandfather is a Middlechurch resident, and she discovered him in a terrible state.
I found him very limp, shirtless, very fatigued, not having any kind of additional fan or ventilation in his room.
Health experts say the longer facilities go without air, the greater the risk of heat illnesses, especially for vulnerable people like seniors.
It's more difficult for a person with cognitive challenges to perceive that they're not feeling well and then to act on it.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We reached out to Winnipeg Regional Health Authority but have not heard back. Meantime, a statement from Uzoma Oseguera, the Minister of Health, Seniors and Long-Term Care, says in part, every available tool must be used to keep used by these facilities to keep residents cool, while cooling system failures are addressed as quickly as possible. Local First Nation leaders in Ottawa this week are there for the Assembly of First Nations annual general meeting. And today they demanded an overhaul of the healthcare system, saying it's failing First Nations people and perpetuating racism.
First Nations citizens are continuing to die 11 years earlier than the average Canadian. And I want that message to ring hollow to everyone who's listening right now. First Nations people are dying 11 years earlier.
Their primary demand was a working relationship with the government to address capacity and wait time issues to ensure culturally safe and equitable care for First Nations people. Southern Chiefs Organization Grand Chief Jerry Daniels also says there should be advocates known as patient navigators in every hospital to help First Nations folks navigate the system and communicate their needs to healthcare workers. A statement from Health Minister Uzoma Oseguera says they're committed to working in partnership with First Nations leaders and Indigenous organizations to improve care and address inequities. They add, in part, that is why the province became the first in Canada to routinely collect race, ethnicity, and Indigenous identity data across the hospital system to identify inequities, measure progress, and drive improvements in patient care. As Canada looks to expand trade beyond the U.S., a northern Manitoba port is preparing for a major milestone. Grain from the prairies is expected to move through the port of Churchill for the first time in 6 years. As CTV's Alex Carpa shows you, supporters believe this could strengthen the province's economy and position the port for future growth.
This is the port of Churchill, nestled along the shores of Hudson Bay in northern Manitoba. It's home to the only deepwater seaport in northern Canada.
It's been one of the busiest years in quite some time, and it's certainly the most diversified range of commodities that we'll carry.
Interest in revitalizing the port has increased in recent years as Canada works to diversify its global trade markets and lessen its dependence on the U.S. Now, prairie grain is set to return to Churchill for the first time since 2020, a move supporters say could mark a turning point for the northern facility.
Well, this is a significant event in the sense of grain coming back to Churchill, going to global markets.
One economist says restoring grain shipments through the port will provide economic benefits for Manitoba.
It's going to help boost economic development in the north by creating jobs in the port of Churchill. Absolutely great news for farmers here in Manitoba as well as people in the north.
Earlier this year, Ottawa said it's considering a major expansion of the port of Churchill that would transform the northern Manitoba facility into a year-round multi-commodity trade hub. Arctic Gateway Group, which owns and operates the port, has also signed agreements with several international ports aimed at expanding exports of Canadian products.
Right now, there's a huge political push to move to build pipelines and other things to move energy products to markets outside of Canada. And so by showing that we can do it at the Port of Churchill, there's a potential for tremendous growth for Manitoba.
Avery says this year's grain shipments represent an important first step toward making Churchill a larger player in Canada's trade network.
Having trade-enabling infrastructure like the Port of Churchill is critical.
Hoping the port will play a bigger role in Canada's economic strategy. Alex Kerper, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Canada's national men's rugby team will hit the pitch in Winnipeg on July 18th for the first time in 33 years this weekend.
We need to have all that in mind and make sure that we perform well for the supporters, and hopefully people want us as a result to come back.
This week, the squad is working to improve areas that contributed to their loss in Edmonton and using the tournament as a look ahead to next year's World Cup. There's one lone Manitoban on the squad, Kyle Steeves. The team's head coach says Steeves been filling them in on Winnipeg's rugby scene.
We're all learning, more and more about the local rugby, which has been terrific, to get a better understanding of things. So we're looking forward to, obviously, to the game, as a result.
The squad and support staff have also enjoyed some local cuisine at Red Top Drive-In. Team Canada will play Zimbabwe in the World Rugby Nations Cup on Saturday at Princess Auto Stadium. Those details can be found on Rugby Canada's website. Young people will have an easier way to keep busy this summer and maybe take up a new sport. Those between the ages of 6 and 18 can now golf for just $5 at any city course after 5 p.m. And for 9 holes, the cost drops to just $3. It's part of Golf Canada's Youth on Course program. So to take advantage of the deal, you have to become a Golf Canada member at a cost of $65. Coming up, garbage or recycling? When you'll need to put these cups in a different bin. Plus, cloudy with drizzling rain. We'll show you when a thunderstorm will roll through. Still to come in your complete Skywatch forecast. Tonight's Skywatch pick of the day, or shall I say night, comes to us thanks to Wayne of this shot over in Norway House. You can send your weather photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. Well, those weather photos might have some rain in it over the next couple of days. That's because we are expecting showers to push through much of the province and potentially bring along with it a thunderstorm. First, though, the north is dealing with some heat. I'll move to the side here so you can get a look at this area right now where we are seeing an extreme heat advisory. Thompson, you're not included in this one. Norway House, Oxford House, and Flin Flon, though, you folks are. And it's really going to be quite hot over the next day. Hopefully, though, that advisory will end as things cool a little. We'll chat about that in a second. Let's first look at this big green monster making its way through our province. We're going to see early, very early actually in the morning, this system start to come into Manitoba, including here in Winnipeg. So by the time most folks wake up for their day, there is a chance we could be seeing a thunderstorm that'll start a little earlier. Of course, for folks in places like Brandon here in Winnipeg, it might just be your alarm. We are going to be seeing these showers, though, continue throughout really most of the day. Not as likely it'll result in a thunderstorm as it will very early in the morning, but still those showers making its way through. We'll see, though, on Thursday night, there is some scattered showers in the works for folks in northern Manitoba. This system is going to really push out of the province very early Friday morning, but that's when us here in Winnipeg could be slammed again with another thunderstorm. We are seeing that potentially hitting us very, very early in the morning. So if you are actually watching it, the news right now at this time, hopefully it doesn't wake you up, because we're expecting that to start not long after midnight, and it's going to hit its worst actually in northwestern Ontario on Friday. Taking a look across the province, we are seeing those hot temperatures to the north, including a high of 27 tomorrow in Thompson with sunshine, 27 degrees as the high in the Pas as well tomorrow, with 26 as the high high in Flin Flon. And those chances of thunderstorms overnight and into the day tomorrow as well throughout Manitoba in the south, including us here in Winnipeg. Nor 26 degrees as your expected high, cloudy in the region tomorrow. And taking a look at that 7-day forecast, as mentioned, we could see those showers throughout until Saturday. The next time you grab a pardon me, I'm a little tired, sorry. The next time you grab a coffee or drink from a fast food joint, you'll finally know what bin to put it in. Multi-Material Stewardship Manitoba, the organization that helps coordinate the province's recycling effort, says you can actually start throwing those paper cups in blue bins. They've been tricky to recycle because of their waterproof linings and dyes. Just be sure to pour out any remaining liquid first and remove any colored lids. Halifax Harbor is home to both sailing and songwriting. We'll show you what's going on after the break. A woman from France is living out her lifelong dream of traveling the world and performing. CTV's Mike Lamb takes us on the water for her story tonight.
I'm Marek. I'm a French piano player and sailor, and I created the Pianocean project, sailing around the world with a piano on board. So I was first a professional musician, and in the meantime I learned sailing. We basically cut a hole in the deck of this boat to allow the passage of the piano. And then we invented a system to lift the piano up onto the deck for the concerts and to lower it into the back cabin when we're sailing. Sailing and getting to the places by sea makes a whole different connection with the people, because they know you've been crossing the sea to reach them. And the connection is really, really special.
From the ocean to ice, the Winnipeg Jets have logged up for Cole Perfetti for another 5 seasons.
Centering pass, Perfetti shoots and scores!
The two sides have agreed on a 5-year, $30 million deal, carrying an annual average value of $6 million. Perfetti scored 12 goals and added 20 assists in 68 games last season. The 24-year-old, who was taken 10th overall pick in the 2020 draft, has 59 goals and 157 points in 290 career games. Perfetti and the Jets were set to head to arbitration Monday. And speaking of the Jets, the NHL released the league's regular season home openers today, including who Winnipeg opens the season against. The Jets will welcome the Boston Bruins to Canada Life Centre on August 2nd. Fans need to wait until tomorrow afternoon to learn about the rest of the 2026-27 season, but you can expect even more hockey games this year. Previously, the league announced it's adding 2 more divisional games per team, expanding the season to 84 games. And get your popcorn ready. Winnipeg, the Big Top is back. Cirque Italia's Water Circus is getting set for a run of shows next week. Prepare to witness death-defying stunts, feats of acrobatics, and wild antics by performers from Argentina, Brazil, Romania, and more. Shows are happening between July 23rd and 27th in that big black and white tent at St. Vital Center. You can find more information and tickets by visiting cirqueitalia.com. These incredible flowers have a stinky secret. We'll show you why I'm glad smell-o-vision doesn't exist, and we'll break down tomorrow's forecast next.
Clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Tomorrow, expect to see showers, and there is a potential for a thunderstorm. A stinky event has been drawing long lineups in California.
I think people are just curious to see how
how smelly it actually is. That's the first thing we always get asked is, what does it actually smell like? Or does it really stink that bad? And yes, it does smell really bad, and it smells almost like a dumpster or a really well-used porta potty.
Poor guy. 2 rare corpse flowers bloomed together at this week's Huntington Botanical Gardens in San Marino. The smell of the flowers while in bloom have been compared to a lot of stinky things, and it's the first time the two have bloomed side by side. Thanks for watching, and good night.